Hey guys, Slade, grade level collectibles here. Wow, it has been a insane month and a half. I coming from an eBay seller, it is very exciting what is happening right now. A lot of the items that I've sold, a lot of the items that I've bought over years and years, they are flying out the door. Anybody with an eBay store can tell you right now it is an interesting time of international selling. I have, throughout my whole entire eBay career, only about 5 to 10%, even less, has ever been sold via international. Where nowadays, 85% of my items are being sold to internationals. It is very, very interesting. Just like I've shared a last video about what exactly is going on in the Chinese and the Japanese market. If you missed that video, go and watch it. But TLDR would be, hey, the interest in Japanese items, especially from Japan getting into the game, has skyrocketed, causing the prices over there in Japan to skyrocket because, price and demand or supply and demand. If there's a little bit of supply and there's a huge amount of demand, the price is going to go up. So the market's insane over there, and now those buyers that really want the cards, they are using middlemans in America to buy them to ship them back to Japan or ship them back to China. So it's a very interesting time, and I kind of just wanted to give an update. This video is just me not rambling on too much. I know I do that in my videos and everything, but I have a script. I have a script because I'm like, okay, I'm going to ramble on a little too much. So first, I wanted to describe for those who do not know my channel. I've been buying and I've been collecting Pokemon for years and years. I've been buying like as a business and kind of selling and collecting for the past 4 years. All that time I've been on eBay. All that time I've been in Facebook groups, just in the know, in the vein of Pokemon and what has been going on. And my niche that I kind of fill in the Pokemon space is unique, collectible promotional cards that are specifically from Japan, Japanese exclusive cards, and that's kind of what I've kind of fit in that niche. I have probably one Charizard card in my collection. I do not collect Charizard. Not that I'm against it or anything, but I would more than likely collect Pikachu cards and Grookey cards and a lot of my other favorite Mewtwo, Mew, a lot of my favorite Pokemon cards. And the reason being that is that, if I'm going to be stuck with an item, I want to enjoy it, and I just don't enjoy all the chase of Charizard, hypeness, whatever. Eventually, I probably will get a Shadowless, base set Shadowless Charizard. Eventually, maybe a PSA, I don't know, 6, 7, whatever. But right now, it's just not where I am right now. Update since the last video. It has not stopped. This hyper focus on Japanese items where it's pushing everything out of its way. English hasn't moved since 2020. Vintage WotC hasn't moved since 2020. It is all about the Japanese. It really is. And a subsection of that where I don't really want to get into is all the hypeness and everything of the Japanese or of the waifu cards. There's a lot I can get into that, but I don't want to. I don't personally collect as a collector. There are some cards I have bought because they were trophy cards or prize cards that have these trainers on them, and they're just very, very desirable right now in Japan and China. I can't, as a business, I can't negate that desirability of my consumers and the clients that buy from me. But anyway, so that train has not stopped whatsoever. It seems like every single Japanese card, especially promotional cards, not so much set cards. Set cards still have gone up in value 100%, but not as much as the actual rare and exclusive items that I kind of desire and I search out for. So you have items like Mario and Luigi, Pikachu cards, Munch, well, specifically in Munch, like I said I don't think I mentioned it in the last video, but specifically the Mimikyu and the Pikachu. Those are kind of like the rare ones, where the Psyduck, Rowlet, and Eevee are not so much. They are actually. Hold on. So, I actually have Eevee and Mimikyu here. These are recent purchases. I wish I was around in 2018 collecting, but this card's phenomenal. This was rare because it came out in a certain collection box where you had to, not a box, but a collection where you had to buy all the cards at once, where a lot of people didn't want to spend that much money on it, where you have cards like Eevee here, where this was just given out if you purchased anything from the Pokemon Center during that time. Or where the museum was, and the Pikachu card was given out if you bought a ticket to the museum, the Munch gallery display that they were doing. But you have cards like these, where this one just skyrocketing in value in the past month and a half. It went from like a $4,000 card to it sold recently for over $10,000. Oh, to at $10,000, maybe a little bit over. I know a lot of private deals are happening as well. And, there's about 900 of these in the population report. And there's about 2,300 of these in it. So it's still not a lot. It's still not a lot. For how many people that are collecting these and have these on hand, that's where a majority of them are. It's not graded, honestly. A lot of them are being graded right now. And because of that, you'll see later this year or in the next coming months when they all come back, you'll see the price kind of maybe go a little bit down. But again, to give an update, these Chinese buyers, they are just not stopping. They are buying everything they can get their hands on. I've done private deals with Chinese individuals with high dollar value amounts that I could like maybe a month ago, people would scoff at that type of price, but now it's through the roof of what's going on. So what you have is a new culture, a new mass amount of people that are interested in Pokemon. And you have, I've mentioned before, or the previous people have mentioned it before, in China, the population is about 1 billion people. 1% of 1 billion people is 10 million people. If 10 million people came into the hobby, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of income. That's a lot of people coming in for genuine interest. Not to make stocks or anything, but just genuine interest of that. You've already had people from Taiwan and Hong Kong in the scene with these Chinese cards coming out, but that is more traditional Chinese, the language on the cards. They came out with the simplified Chinese written language that came out in November or December of 2022. And when that happened, it kind of was the catalyst with this huge boom that happened. Now you have a lot more people into the game. You have a lot more people not just buying the set cards, not just staying in simplified Chinese cards, but they are branching out into majority Japanese cards, branching out into trophy cards. We have had crazy sales recently of trophy cards where these billionaires or millionaires or whatever, there's specific ones that we know of in the Pokemon community that have been buying up as much as they can. Majority Japanese, exclusive trophy cards, but also English. And so you have these people just coming in, buying up, and really it's pricing out a lot of people. A lot of people that have been in the game for a while. They're like, I literally can't buy these cards like I have been years ago. And it's more on the sense of, okay, what can I move on to? It's cards are always going to be collectible. Cards are obviously collectible, but cards are always going to be affordable. But it's, what cards do you want to collect? Obviously, the card that has pumped up to $10,000, maybe you just have to say, goodbye to it. You had your chance, this is 2018, so you maybe had your chance to buy it at $50, $200, $500, $1,000, and $4,000. Well, now it's $10,000, and some people are like, I just can't afford that, so goodbye. there are plenty of great promotions coming out even today, like the Nagaba Eevee promotion that just came out. There's a newer promotion. There's just newer cards every single day, even set cards that are still quote unquote undervalued. And in 5 or 10 years, they could be a lot more valuable than they are now. So I think that that type of gripe that happens in the hobby, it's just people not wanting to come to terms with the cards are just so out of reach for them because of their income status or because it's just not affordable. A $20,000 card is not affordable to the average Joe. That's a lot of money. That's a full car. And some people live paycheck. So a little tangent, but you're gonna have people not agree with these prices, with these sales. They're gonna say, "Oh, it was scalped. Oh, it was bought out." But I think it derives from the fact that people just can't afford these cards, or they didn't buy these cards. And so they're like, oh, that price doesn't make sense. That price doesn't make sense at all. Why is it that? Blah, 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 blah. I'm like, if you held these cards, if you had these cards, you'd be like, oh, yeah, makes sense. Yeah, price makes sense. It's rare. Yeah, popularity, whatever. It just there's a double side of that type of argument. So yeah, right now it is an interesting time. Now, where will this take us? Where will this end up? I go on Poke charts every other day pretty much, seeing where the market is, what's going up, and they have an overall chart. I'll show it on the screen right here, but they have an overall, I'll move out of the way so you can see it. They have an overall chart where it just is the average sale. I'm guessing the average sale or the average, some type of the market cap of, selling cards and of graded cards in the market and raw cards. And as you can see, it says just ticked up, ticked up, ticked up, ticked up. And you can see a little bit of like, oh, are we going down now? Are we going down now? I don't think it's going to stop anytime soon. I think even Worlds, a lot of people are predicting that like, hey, this is, Worlds is going to happen, and people are just going to dump their cards. People, first of all, they don't not understand, but they don't have, it's very hard to perceive volume, the volume of cards or the volume of people wanting to buy these cards. I don't think they have a good idea of how many people are just hand over fist putting down money, especially the Chinese individuals, putting down money for these cards. And even card stores, there's buy lists that happen, and even I sold 13 cards in Japan, and they sold around $10,000 or like 1.3 million yen. And that was just cash. That was like a Pawn Star. I'll go, yeah, we'll take, I could have sold them for more, 100%, but that was just cash on hand. I'm like, yeah, I'll put this into other things. Those were like 13 cards. They were very valuable cards. They were like the Festive Pikachus, Easter Pikachu. I mean, you just had Yokohama's. What is it? Vulpix, a bunch of Vulpix. I mean, you just had a whole bunch of cards that were very, very desirable, but I knew that I could sell them more expensive in Japan, even after all the fees, than I can spend or I can get in eBay. So I don't think it's going to stop at Worlds. I think it's going to continue a little bit on, and I just don't know where this is going to go. Honestly, nobody knows. Even the most senior in the senior of people that are in Pokemon, this is just unprecedented. And it's unprecedented because of the volume of people. We don't know if people are going to spend majority of their money or their collection on trophy cards, more than likely not, but of trophy cards, of set cards, of promotional cards. Are they going to come into English? Are they only going to focus on Japanese? Are they going to collect the Chinese later on? There are a lot of questions that are not answerable right now. But in the next years, and especially in the next 5 years, we'll know. We'll know the pattern. We'll know, okay, this is what they're doing. This is what's going on. Desirable cards really wane and change throughout eras. You have certain eras like, Sword and Shield, where the hottest set was Evolving Skies, and that can stick around for a long period of time for the people who grew up in Sword and Shield or who lived through Sword and Shield. But I guarantee, this new Scarlet and Violet, there's going to be a set that comes out that's going to blow everything away. With what Pokemon's doing with these art cards and these secret character rares and all this stuff, it is phenomenal. It is a great time to be a collector in the hobby because it's really like phenomenal. I'm just like a lot of people in this hobby are pretty much a collector of artwork, and what they've done with these Pokemon, intertwine them into like everyday life type of thing, giving us another viewfinder, another way to look into the world of Pokemon. I think it's just phenomenal. Not only on the artwork, how many talented artists there are in Pokemon, but also just the whole artwork of it all and the whole releases and even the promotions they're hitting it out of the park. They haven't made another. I really want them to make another like Mario Luigi type-esque release. Something maybe with like Zelda and Pikachu or something. That would be dope. But time can tell. And right now in Pokemon, they're really aiming it toward the collector space, and it's just amazing to be a part of it, living through this part of Pokemon. But again, it is really hard to boil down. Okay, what are we doing from here? Okay, what's really going on? What's the next 5 years? What's the next 10 years? What's going to happen? We really don't know. But I can tell you the characteristics of what makes a collectible is going to stand the test of time. For something that's been printed into the ground and it's all just rides off popularity, it's majority not going to last as much as something that is genuinely interesting, cool to look at, exclusive, high grade. Those types of things are going to last and going to test the test of time, because there's just not a lot of them out there. I mean, you're going to have items that are maybe 100 of them out there, or 50, or even 200, or whatever. But there's just not enough to go around. Only 200 people can have that card. Only 100 people could have that card. Only 900 people can have this card. And some people have multiples. And so there's every single day there's going to be more and more people are going to get into the hobby, and they're going to start buying up these cards. They're like, man, that's awesome. I'm going to collect that. Oh man, that's awesome. I'm going to collect that. I don't think anybody's going to forget of the Munch Pikachu or Munch promotion that happened, or the Mario and Luigi promotion, one of the best promotions that's ever happened with Pikachu cards. People are not going to forget that, and they're even going to have maybe nostalgia for it or wanting to go back to it. So whatever is out there is out there. Pokemon's not printing this stuff anymore. So a lot of people don't weigh the rarity of certain items as well as the future outcomes of this. Because all these people getting into Pokemon, all these people spending money on Pokemon, it's just going to increase demand. And that's what it is. And there's not a bunch of supply out there. So I don't have a magical ball that I can look into and tell people, hey, this is what's going to happen. This is how it's going to happen. All I can say, the fundamentals of card collectibles are going to stand the test of time. And if you can understand the card collectible fundamentals, then you will thrive in this hobby. You will thrive even if you're a business or a lone collector. You'll have items in your collection that'll increase 2, 3, 4 times, depending on popularity, depending on the rarity of the item, depending on a lot of things, especially time, how much time has passed. This is 2018. And so, maybe in 2019 it wasn't worth $10,000. It was maybe worth, I don't know, $300. I wasn't in the Pokemon scene collecting anyway, this high-end stuff. Time is going to work for you in this hobby. Time is going to work with you with these collectibles. That's pretty much how collectibles have been for a long period of time. There's a set number of them, and there's an ever-increasing demand for them. And if production is not in production, if these things are not coming out anymore, then there's only going to be increase in price over a long period of time. How long it's going to be, who knows? People like myself who were highly positioned in Japanese got lucky. Nobody really saw this Japanese kind of influx happening. I didn't really look into a magical ball and like, oh man, I should collect Japanese because it's going to explode in 2 years. I didn't know that. What I did know is what I liked. And what I did know were the fundamentals of collectibles, which I will get into another video. I don't want to make this video too long, as long as I've made it, but again, it is such an interesting time in the hobby because you have so many more people coming to the hobby that are actually genuinely interested in the hobby, not the 420 Blaziken coming in like, oh yeah, I'll buy all your Charizards and then next week I'll flip them for twice the amount of money. It's not that. These collectibles are going into a black hole and never being seen again. And that black hole is China. a lot of these Chinese buyers are just buy or buy. They are just buying just relentlessly. So anyway, I will update you guys in a newer video later on of, you know, if the bubble popped. Oh, it's a bubble, it's a bubble. You know, if the bubble popped. And giving you a short answer, I don't believe it's a bubble. I think it's just an increase in interest and a decrease in supply on the market actually being sold. So maybe these valuables were, or these collectibles were always collected or are always valued at $10,000, or maybe that's where they are now. A lot of these people can't, they have price memory of 3 years ago. And 3 years in Pokemon, especially nowadays, it's a long time. That's a long time. That's a lot of sets, a lot of set cards, a lot of desirable cards, a lot of promos that a lot of people want. So, with that, I'll leave you guys. Again, new little setup. You know, I hope you like the camera quality. Oh, it's look at that. Look at that. It's kind of blurry. You can't really see my background. But this is part of my media company. I have another company that I run outside of Pokemon and everything, that I film and everything. And so I've recently, with the influx of cash into my Pokemon company, I've been able to siphon some of that off into my media company. So I wouldn't have the gear that I have right now with my media company if it wasn't for Pokemon. And that's how I kind of got in the game as well. So really thankful for Pokemon, really thankful to the people who've educated me throughout this space. I mean, you have people like S. and Pratt, you have people like even Twice Baked Jake. I mean, a lot of people give him crap or whatever, but he kind of introduced me into the Japanese scene. You have people like Top 10. I mean, you have the Green Shiz. I mean, there's a lot of people who are genuinely out here just to share information and share their experience, and that's kind of what I'm doing as well. And even people, PFM, Flying Pokemon Monster, even you, man. You're very, very knowledgeable in the scene. But yeah, I couldn't have been here doing this if it wasn't for all you people. I'm trying to give back as much as I can. But anyway, thank you for all you guys. And tune in next time when I talk about how the bubble has popped. Catch you guys later.